Well, welcome to the channel. Destry Wade here on the Homeless Surfer channel. Really loving to do this with you guys. It gives me something to look forward to when I'm talking to myself, watching TV, and talking to the dog. I kind of think about you guys and what to talk about at the next time we have a meeting. So here's our meeting. Uh, Remember to like, share, and what was the other one? Comment on this channel, please. It's really helping us grow. I'm starting to see some significant changes, and I appreciate you guys so much. I don't want to let anybody down. I want you to have, hopefully, this is an enjoyable period of the day. We get to kick back and kind of just share wisdom, share what we learned. You know, I don't want to pretend to be wise. I hate those people. I don't. I know what I know. I know what I walk through, like you all do. You know what you've walked through. I can't I can't say I know how you feel. Nobody knows how you feel because even though we might have been through the exact same situation, the way we internalize it, the way we externalize it afterwards is very different from each other. Sometimes it creates problems amongst ourselves because of that. Because oh, you should act like this when this happens, or you're supposed to be this way. No, I'm just going to be me and deal with the feelings as they come. Uh, I think the emotions and the feelings are the things that we're kind of got to work on amongst ourselves and within ourselves. How do we handle life? It's it seems like such a simple question, uh, and I think if you're in your 20s and maybe even into your 30s in some cases, you probably have those answers. I got to be 62 and I realized I really don't have a lot of answers. I've seen a lot. I've got some understanding, patience for sure. Um, I'm not angry. Interesting story. I was downstairs this morning, trying to get the information I need to try to fight this thing to stay here because I don't want to go back to the street for sure. And the more I think about it, the less I'm stoked about that idea. But hey, if that's what it is, that's what it is. And I'll probably be mad for a few days. I'll make sure you know that because seeing me mad is rare. Um, Old saying on the beach: "Don't make him get up out of his chair." I don't know if that was mean or they were giving me a compliment. But the bottom line is, when I got up, shit happens. So, and when I got angry, shit happens. That's one thing I never used to. I used to not have total control of my temper. Still don't. You might see. Hopefully, you'll never see that part um, of the when I get angry. But like I said, 62 years old, you ain't got the physical strength to be too angry, and God forbid you get yourself into a physical altercation because that'll probably kill me. So use the experience, not the muscle, no more. Now it's the memory, not the muscle, to use to keep going and living through this beautiful thing we call life. Um, yeah, I just went downstairs and was waiting to talk to the management about staying here and what we got to do to fight for that right. Otherwise, they take your old butt and they stick you back out on the street. It's so counterproductive to everything that you hear on, like I listen to news and watch TV and they're all talking about let's get people off. And what they don't do that. They don't. They maintain the problem. Now what they're doing here, literally, we've all been here 3 years since they opened this thing. This February 1st is the end of the third year. And I needed it because I was on a walker. I couldn't swallow. I had a nurse in my house feeding me because I had to mush my food up to get it down my throat. That heart attack really wrecked me. And when I came out, I thought I was going back to the street even when I was in my walker coming down the hall. Thank God, I got loved ones and friends that said, no, we're going to go help you out and get you into a place for the time being. This place was just opening up. And people go, how'd you get in here? I'm like, I don't know. That's the guardian angels that I have in my life that somehow I woke up here from the unconsciousness of the coma and the heart attack. And here I was. And I've been respectful and good about it ever since. But there's a lot of people that need a lot of help, and there's not as much help as people want to think because the people keep stealing it. But bottom line is, there's a lot of folks out there that are just stuck and they're mad. And I was watching that today. I was, like I said, I was downstairs and I was talking to this elderly gentleman who was just really mad today that he had to sit outside the management office while they assisted somebody else and wait for, he was probably there 3.5 minutes before he started getting mad about it. Like they're supposed to drop everything, run down to him and say, "What I can do for you, sir? Because you by far must be the most important one in the world because you're making the biggest deal about getting serviced. And people are just doing their best to try to help you out. God, this building is not easy. When you take a bunch of homeless people and mentally ill people in a lot of cases, and you take them off the street, you throw them into a building, guess what? The, they might be off the street, but the street ain't off them. And I talked about this a little last time. It took me literally the first 30 days coming off the street. I cried. And I talked to all my friends, all the tough guys that I know, and we all did the same thing. We freaking had to release that crap, man. You live on the street long enough, you watch people die at your feet. You watch girls go through hell. You watch kids just get lost, and you're like, oh, you know what they're going. You know what's coming. That's the thing about experience, man. I don't, you know, I know what's coming. And warning them, I have to do out of caution because you can't tell people what to do out there. The reason they're homeless is they don't want to be told what to do anymore. They got to a point where every time you turn around, someone's telling you what to do and or taking something from you. The government's great, man. You build up, build up, build up. Also, the government will come in and seize your account because of some stupid thing. All your work then goes out the window. So a lot of people just feel like, why? Why should I bother? That's kind of where I got to. This happens, this happens. Seems like everybody's against you. Got it, finally got a raise, and guess what? The power company decided to ask for more money for power. So I never got a raise. I just paid more for power. That's yeah. I can see why they get mad. Um, but some people they're seriously injured and they're seriously angry. The anger is typically, unfortunately, echoes out. And there's a lot of people, especially down. See, I'm downtown. If you're not familiar with San Diego, downtown's about 10 miles off the beach that I grew up on in Pacific Beach, but downtown's a little more homeless, homeless helpful, if you will. Pacific Beach isn't real open to having homeless centers and homeless people hanging out down there, especially the ones like that hang out down here. Because these guys are serious lifetime homeless people. It's really hard to get them off the street because they wreck stuff. I mean, when we first moved into here, the neighbor over here, and the neighbor over here were both insane, clinically. And I'm not trying to be mean. It's just they were literally clinically insane. And this poor girl next door, she was like 24, 25. She was destroying, hammering her wall. I mean, putting holes with a hammer in her wall. You're trying to sleep and there's holes punched in the wall. She turned on the bathtub and just flooded all up and down this hallway. This probably got 40 apartments. Every one of them had 2 inches of water in it. This girl was just losing her mind. And poor kid next door over here, he was mentally ill too. He was a trash collector. I never saw that in my life. You see it on the news, where they got all the trash in front of them and stuff. I never saw anything up close like that. This kid would literally go with trash bags, come walking in with trash bags, take them to his apartment, and dump them out. And then just sift through them. And then when he was done, he'd leave and go get more. And it just kept building up to where literally, and it takes time to get these people out. It's not easy. You're going to kind of go through the process with me. And I'm going to fight it. They didn't even fight it. If they don't fight it, it's still hard. It's really not a good look for the government that cares to take you and stick you back out sick or mentally ill in the streets. So they try to keep you here. They do everything they can, but eventually, you got to go somewhere where you can get the help you're going to need. And just because you're out of the street, you're not getting the help. So anyway, um, yeah, these poor kids, they're just suffering, and you just don't know what to do for them. Like I said, I've made friends with both of them. I'm a good neighbor. I always say hello, neighbor, which pisses people off. You ever say good morning to someone and have them say, "What's so good about it?" Yeah, I have that a lot, especially on the street down here where I walk. Because I'm known, me and Monkey walk around, and I think I'm kind of the weird old dude with a little teeny dog in a big bad neighborhood, basically keeping his little dog close to him because the pit bulls want to eat him for lunch. Then there's a lot of pits out here, which is cool. I had pit bulls all my life. I love them. I'm just too weak now after my heart attacks to care for them. you can't control your dog, especially if you're dealing with a pit bull. It's like having a gun that you don't know how to use. It's just going to get you or someone else hurt or killed, even worse. This scar right here that you can barely see, yeah, that's raising pit bulls. That's reaching down to pet him when he's eating. That dog loved me. So just understand. Yeah, so I've got to probably look at like that, and that's okay with me. I don't want to be mad. I'm so tired of being mad. Oh, hey, you know what's happened in my life. Many, many times in my life, I've had more than enough adequate justification, even by my fellow man, to be pissed off. Oh, he deserves to be like that, after all he's been going through this and going through that. Well, guess what? We all go through shit. There's not one person here that is going to have a loved one pass on. That hurts, man. I mourn. And it depends how close and where the order of the loved ones falls that it can hurt worse. But you can't let that kill your whole life. When I was sad when the first experience or taste of loss came in my life. I was mad, and I didn't care. I just went out and just ran roughshod. Ended up after 10 years of being out of prison, I went back to jail again just because hell with it. I was getting high, doing whatever I wanted to do. I didn't care. Mostly probably a pussy way to be suicidal for me. Uh, I'm okay. No, I'm not. No, I wasn't. I was trying to hurt myself, not knowingly. That's even worse because you're doing it subconsciously because you just hurt so much. You don't want to feel this no more. So that that really was a bad, dark time. So I understand from my perspective, waking up and feeling angry, and it just never did anything for me. Like I said, I ended up back in jail for that one. Going to prison makes you angry. When you're in jail, you're more angry because now you got people forcibly holding you, forcibly forcing their will upon you. And they do it with guns and concrete and steel. I mean, it can't get any harder than that. But that's what we do in our society. We put people in jails and prisons when they break the rules. We're real serious about our rules. Um, Even the little ones. I never got arrested for anything that was against anybody else intentionally. I guess selling drugs is against other people because you are hurting their lives. But I never robbed or stole or did anything like real criminal shit. And in my neighborhood, drugs were everywhere. That's part of living on the beach. You just accept that as part of it. And most of us just avoided it because that was where, it was the weekend on the beach or the summer on the beach for kids that didn't live here on the beach. They'd come down and bring their mischief with them. And that's how most of us ended up getting caught up. We didn't get, it just shows up at your house. It's like if you live in a crack neighborhood, not to get involved in that stuff, but everybody around you is doing it, and every house is a crack house. It's going to limit your ability to say no at some point. So, that's kind of what I had to worry about when I was on the street was just saying no. Because if you're getting high, or you're getting drunk, and you are forced to stop, jail's a little different, hospitalization's a little different because there's a reasoning that you're not doing it. But when you're on the street free and you get drunk every day, you get irritated the day you can't get drunk. In fact, I got to a point so severe before the heart attack that I was shaking, man, like that. I couldn't even wake up. I had to wake up and, it used to be coffee in the morning. Then now we called it Russian roast. It was kind of a funny thing we had between ourselves. Yeah. I would say this: if you don't laugh at yourself, you're just gonna cry. So we tried to do our best to make everything a little joke. So we called it the Russian roast. And that was our coffee in the morning, and basically it was vodka. But you had to have it. And if you didn't have it, oh, it was a bad, bad day. Bad day. In fact, no, there wasn't a day like that. You'd go straight in and rob. I mean, walk right into a liquor store, or the grocery stores are easier, and walk right in, grab a bottle, stick it in your coat, walk out. Gotta have it. And hey, damn be it if they bust me, at least I get some methadone, or not methadone. Oh gosh, dang it, what is it? Oh, anyway, there's a drug you can take when you're an alcoholic that helps you get through it. When you go to jail, they give it to you so you don't have the extreme withdrawals. It's the only thing they give you that. if you're a heroin addict, you got a cold turkey. And if you're a meth or a fentanyl addict, you're cold turkey in it, man. And they give you like vitamins and Neutralites and stuff like that. It's like not helping me right now, man. Not helping me at all. So anyway, that's the way. That's a thing, man. It's hard. I understand so much how people are sad and mad. It's a choice, though. It is a choice. I'm homeless. Technically speaking, I am as homeless as it gets. Helpless. Can't fix the glasses, remember? Not till Monday of next week. That's the second. That's the money comes, and then I can go get some glasses. Meantime, you got to look like this or not see. I don't really go out of my house because I can see good enough outside, even though it's blurry. I don't need to wear my glasses. But inside, I can't see anything. The lighting doesn't work for me. I have to have my glasses or I can't see. So, but I can't afford them. So now I wait till the second. So I get my check. Then I'll go down and buy my glasses and oh well. There went the movies. I don't know movies. Are you kidding? That's the truth. Yeah, dude. When I was working my butt off all my life, working my butt off, raising my children, you know, it was hard enough. But at least we didn't have craziness like Starbucks. My God. You guys pay $8 a cup of coffee sometimes. That's nuts. All those kind of things for me. It's just like so unrealistic to me. What else? Oh, oh my God, your subscription services and all the stuff you guys pay for. No wonder you get mad. I get mad. I hate being held hostage. The one time, the thing that I hated the most that hit me the soonest in my life, the first life lesson of bills was utility bills. And remember back in 1984, my power bill was like $4.75 a month. And that was for a whole one bedroom apartment on the beach. Luckily, you only used pretty much lighting back then in your refrigerators, but they weren't what do they call that? Friendly. They were friendly to electricity. They ate that crap. So, you know, that's um that's all we had, but I didn't pay it. And back then it was even more different than now. There was no programs to help you pay. There is now. Thank God. Or I wouldn't have this electricity I have here in this house. I had to go to a special program because I'm so dang poor and so useless that I had to get somebody to help me pay the power. So I can stay on and have lights and a TV set, which really it shouldn't be optional. That's the computer, the phone, that's how we connect with the world. You take that away, people don't get to connect anymore. Guess what? You make them madder. Don't do that. The power company's making a fortune. They can afford to waive fees for, hey, if you're under 40,000, 30,000, 40,000 a year in income in San Diego, you don't have to pay electrical. You shouldn't. Jeez, man, everything else you pay, you're psycho. Seriously. I always find it interesting to tell people, yeah, I'm homeless, but at least I'm homeless in the richest city in the world, right? And we are. We got some good stuff here, man. Like I said, growing up here, I grew up in a nice home. All my friends live in La Jolla and North PB, and if you don't know the area, North PB is just basically it's kind of La Jolla light. It's the beginning of the wealthy people as they start to climb that hill. And if they get really to the top, they'll jump over the river and go over to freaking Del Mar. Del Mar's nice too. So that it's ironic in California. There's a weird thing just being a local here. If you start up at Del Mar, Carlsbad, those are high end, well off people. They got a lot of money. Their houses are 4 or 5 million. Their cars are hundreds, 200,000. These people don't mess around. Their insurance is more than their insurance payment on their car alone's more than I make in a year. When I was working, not not now. I couldn't even afford. Yeah, I couldn't even afford a freaking rental insurance. Anyway, so you got Del Mar, and then you come down to La Jolla, highly. La Jolla's so exclusive. They got their own zip code and everything. And you don't write, even though they are still San Diego, if you live in La Jolla, it's La Jolla. It's like living in Beverly Hills. You don't live in Los Angeles. I live in Beverly Hills. So anyway, that's how those people are. They're like that. And I come from that. I didn't like all that, man, because who you are is not what you And I'm not, and maybe that's one of the big reasons that I don't get mad and I'm not upset inside because I don't want anything. I used to. Don't get me wrong, I've had it. I fought for it. I went to work every day, bitched every time the bills came at the end of the month, having to balance the checkbook sucked because it never balanced. There's always something, even, and like I said, I wasn't making poor money um, in those days. So it wasn't like it is now, where hey, I got 500 a month in a rent. That's it. You know what food costs? 400 a month. You know what a phone bill costs? You can get an Obama phone, but they don't work, and they're tapping. I mean, there are a lot of other issues, but bottom line is the phone bill's 55. Internet to run this thing, another 35. What's that leave me? 20 bucks. Guess what this month needs? Get those cheap ones at 12 bucks for Walmart, and I'll be set. Um, thank heavens I put a little ad out. And this is what's cool about humans. Again, we talked about this before. I threw a little ad on Craigslist that I was, who I was and what I was doing, and asked some people to help me out with some equipment. So I'm gonna end up getting my equipment for nothing, which is awesome. One thing about this world is, and my daughter is one of them. She's got extra computers, extra this, extra that, all the electronic stuff that go. That ain't what I didn't collect that stuff. I didn't have any. So I never bothered to collect it. But it's amazing how it's like the junk drawer. My daughter goes in her junk closet now. Kids even worse. They got storage sheds. That's when you know you got too much shit. When you own a home and you can't even keep the shit you have in your house, you got to go get a storage shed. You got too much shit, bro. You're probably not happy, but maybe you are. Maybe all that stuff in that storage bed or storage bin that you probably paid for 4 times in storage fees to the total net value of what's in it, which my daughter does. She's got $100 TV. She pays $100 a month to store it. You kids can't afford things. Anyway, that's the old man in me saying these kids are ridiculous. If they just do what I didn't do, which is listen to the old people, I would have been so far ahead. Yeah, but I'm not, because just like the kids today, I had no time for your old ass. My grandfather was a great dad. My dad was a great man. But you know what? They didn't know how to do a bunch of stuff that was ridiculous, like set a VCR. They couldn't get rid of the bouncing 12. Ha! My generation mastered it. We mastered that. We get rid of that bouncing 12. You couldn't, and you just didn't try because you could have. Anyway, things that we had that they didn't. It's endless. But and so that made them old to us. The old ways. My dad used to talk about the old days. Back in the old days, in the 50s. I was in the 50s. See, when we had like theme dances in my day in the 80s, it was always a 50s dance. I noticed later in life, my kids, they started having hippie dances. Like they moved the time period from the 50s to the 60s. Now they're gonna dress up like 60s people. Oh, and then the sickest ones, dude, is when my kids started going to 80s dances. Oh, and you know what? I pray to God, but I gotta tell you, we did look as ridiculous as, as they did that day. Leg warmers? Who came up with leg warmers, man? But at least they had me, right? Because I was hip. I had all the right clothing, and some of it I still had in the closet. So my sons were stoked. They dressed up so dad's 80s shit. But keep in mind, I was a surfer all the way through. So pretty much my wardrobe hasn't changed. It's the names on the shirts that changed because I still wear t-shirts and a Hawaiian shirt. Always wear a Hawaiian shirt. T-shirts, but the difference is now they say whatever they say now. Back in the day, I got Maui and Sons when they used to put the little patch here of a t-shirt and then the other words were on the back. I think they got smarter than that. Like if I want to wear a t-shirt and say something, I should put it on the front because that's when people are going to read it when we're walking at each other. They're going to turn around and read my ass looking backwards. Yeah, so they got smarter with t-shirts, but t-shirts never changed. So on the beach, that's bitching. Some of the outerwear changed. Like we used to just wear thermals, man. We like thermal shirts. That's what I wore all the time, man. A big baggy thermal, a pair of shorts, and a t-shirt under the thermal for the afternoon, or a hoodie. Same thing we still do today. In fact, these kids took hoodies to a whole nother level. Hoodies were a beach thing. The wrapping your shit around your waist, that started with hoodies. You guys call it a fashion thing, but it wasn't. It was the hoodies. Because in California, you wear a hoodie in the morning because in at 7 o'clock when you ride your bike to school, it's cold, and at 3 o'clock in the afternoon when you're coming home, it's bloody hot. So you take off your hoodie somewhere in the middle of the day. And in elementary school, you left a lot of them behind at recess. Wish I could collect all those and sell them now. But anyway, we leave them behind at recess. So we learned, so we didn't get in trouble with our mom, to take the hoodie off and tie it around our waist. Huh. Who would ever thought we started fashion that way? A few years later, when I was in college, all of a sudden they took it from the waist and started wrapping it around their shoulders. They called them yuppies. I wasn't into that. I'm still just a surfer, but I had the old 501s. I had a lot of my punk rock stuff, which was cool too, because that was '80s, early '80s, late '70s. But my son's dressed like punk rockers. So anyway, that's cool. But see, lost it again. By the way, I'm going my EGG. I don't even know what that means, but checking my brain to see why I'm having these lapses in thought. Hopefully nothing too bad. Because I've already had a few things I don't want to repeat again with the heart attacks and the comas and the other things. The only thing I'm missing is a stroke and diabetes. So hopefully I can get through this life without those things. But anyway, being mad, being sad, I don't want to. There's plenty of reasons to be sad and mad, but there's plenty of reasons to be happy too. If nothing else, I mean, maybe this sounds really weird to you guys because I think I'm talking to folks mostly closer to my age. I'm at the end of it. The hard part's done. You know, I got to ride this out for another 20 years or so if I'm blessed, and I'll be sitting in paradise. Yeah, I think that's part of what makes people mad, though, is they have expectations of how life is supposed to be, and now you get to an older age, and you start getting pissed that it isn't or wasn't what you anticipated it to be, or maybe even what you were told it was going to be. I think a lot of what's going on in our modern times is a lot of these kids coming up are we're told things that they don't exist anymore. You know, my childhood and my children's childhood, and for sure my grandchildren's childhood, is so different. You know, I was talking to my daughters. Like, I remember walking to school every day, every day from kindergarten on. And we had two major roads to cross to get there, two highways. They had crossing guards. You know, yeah, that's how you got to school. Mom, dad took off for work. He just said goodbye. And you were to be out the house at 7:30. The school started at 8:05, and it took 20 minutes to walk there. That was it. And then you walked home. There was nobody waiting to pick kids up. Like even in my child's day, you know, my daughter specifically, I dropped her off at school and picked her up. I wouldn't let her walk. I don't think that was a good thing. You know, and nowadays, yeah, even parents got to sign their kids out of daycare. I mean, it's good and it's bad. Um, it's bad. It's good because they're worrying and taking measures to keep our children safe and my grandchildren safe. But it's a bad world that you have to. Somebody even make that consideration. And like we were said in prison, um, if you understand how that guy thinks, and you're one of them. So I don't know how momos think. I don't know how freaking these people think. I don't want to. I want to hurt him. But anyway, I would never say that. I was in prison. Anyway, uh, like I said, I don't want to be a fool trying to sound wise. More for me, this isn't about being wise. It's more of a conversation with you guys about what life was, man. I'm kind of in that mode of life where I'm analyzing what was and what is, and hey, kind of starting to consider what was real and what's not real. You know, we've been told a lot of stuff our whole lives. Followed along as you grew up. I'm sure you've got some inclinations as to what you believe is going to be the next step or the previous step to this one. I do too. So sit and I sit and I contemplate. I wonder and I think and I pray and I hope. Hope is huge. As long as I've kept hope in my life, as long as I had something to look forward to, and maybe that's this whole thing I'm doing right now. Just creating hope inside an old man so that I don't feel like life is useless. That I'm just sitting here waiting to die. Because I'm not going to do that, man. There was a time when I first came out of the hospital, I really had to go through that thought process. Like, well, I'm dying now. I might as well just sit here and wait to die. I'll lay in the bed and push this button because I have a nurse. I do. I have a nurse that comes here and helps me when I need it. I don't use her much because, yeah, they're intrusive anyway. I don't like anyone in my little place here. There's like 200 square feet. You put another human being in here, another grown adult, it's crowded already. That's just me. But anyway, some great things. So let me sway off this awesome conversation that I hope we're having, and go over a couple of the other issues that we're running into. Um, oh, let's show you some of this positive that I've done because I think it's really cool. So, boom, see that first cover. All right, I got 5 others done, but that's the first one ready to go to print. It says The Adventures of Jane Grey, Family Days and Ways. Those are the stories we're making. Those will be our characters following through. Like I said, we copyrighted them so we can make sure that we keep our thing. Now, AI, every time I go to make another story, they want to start changing that stuff. That's important because there's me and there's Dylan and Jay and Gray, Jason or Jasper and Grayson, Jay and Gray. Um, yeah, turned into cartoons. Pretty cool, huh? But see, there's something that is crazy. See that? You probably can't, but yeah, it's got a hallucination on it. It's got me holding my surfboard instead of riding my surfboard. Oops. So we have to correct that. This is actually the edit page, so I'll be editing. I'll be making that adjustment accordingly. Um, Man, when you're computer illiterate, though, I'll say this: learning the computer can get really complicated really quick. I did happen to find out through my extreme poverty position in this life that I qualify for adult education classes and there's a couple different computer classes that I'm going to go ahead and take care of getting into. Actually, today was the first day I'm supposed to register, but I'm gonna get down there tomorrow and see if I can get the registration done and utilize that to move forward um, on the computer stuff because I'm really bad and I'm learning it. You can learn it; it's just really slow. And honestly, being that this situation can end very quickly and I can be back outside again, um, yeah, I definitely want to push it to keep indoors. Yeah, it's necessary. So I got to do that. I got to try to do my best. And again, I'm not going to get mad if it doesn't happen. Figure it out from there, won't we? You're going to be with me. We'll figure it out. That's what we do. We're humans. We've done some incredible things, man. I mean, geez, thousands of years, a couple thousand years ago, somebody walked along, kicked a rock, and thought somehow figured out how to break it down, melt it down, and turn it into steel. Whoa, we'll figure it out. Human nature, we will figure it out. So I've got the books. They're heading into uh, um, what do they call it? Publishers. The publishers this week. As we go through the week and we go through these conversations, I will keep you updated on what the results of that is. Like I said yesterday, you got to watch it because a lot of them are just out to make money and really do nothing for you. It's like when I was in business prior, people would come in from local newspapers. Hey, you want to get great advertising? You put a banner at the Little League field. Put a banner at the Little League field because I like Little League. It's not good advertising. It's not going to help keep your business running in any way, shape, or form. It's more of a community support and the way people look at your business. So that was why we went with that. But the advertising, the marketing is the huge thing. We're hitting the books, getting the books out there. There's a lot of internet marketing. There's a lot of variance to it. I can tell some of it's just straight hustle. There's actually software I found out that I was telling you about. You got to get editing software, things like that. Man, there's one company out there that's hustling people. They'll put you on, give you free edited software. You'll go ahead and start editing. And then when you want to download your edit, that's when they get you. And that's screwed up, man. Because people my age, I mean, most of us aren't aware of how they do this stuff. And I'm really freaked out about credit cards online too, man. I'm not into that. I watch too many shows. I don't know nothing about hacking or nothing about cybersecurity, but it sure makes me nervous to think of putting my credit card information and all that on the line and hoping nobody bothers it. Um, Yeah, this bank account that I'm using that's going to be put online is only accessible online, and the money in there is stuff that's going for online. Because what we do know, out of my little bit of dollar and bills and dollar and cents and a few things of cutting, um, this month we're going to try to get some stuff done. Now I'm going to get this stuff done on my own, and then I may go to the market and get a some sort of startup loan. Basically, it's a love loan. It's not. There's no credit involved for me. That's gone. Um, I have to sell the idea and convince somebody that a few $100s or a few $1,000s is worth taking a shot. So we'll work with that. I think in the next month or so, it's going to be time to go. This month and ongoing on months, you got to keep going. I got to keep the stuff rolling, which is the internet, the Chat GBT. They charge subscription for that. That's how those guys get rich. But that's 20 a month. You got there's Nano Banana, which is going to take those cartoon books that I showed, or the animated illustrated books, and turn them into illustrated cartoons, which I'm stoked about because then I can go on to YouTube Kids, start posting those, start trying to contact. Let me tell you a real quick story. Speaking of contacting and marketing and sales, I once had worked for a company for a short period of time. I helped them develop. It was just a person, it was a contract and they made what they call it was custom kids, and they made custom books. So they take your kid's name, like, hey, what's your son's name? Oh, that's Johnny. Johnny, come here. Type it in. A little 4-year old sitting there in the stroller in the mall, and type in Johnny in the computer, and all of a sudden, bam! There's 8 songs with featuring Johnny's name. Wake up, Johnny! It's a brand new day. I'll never forget that. I sat in the studio because it was playing on rotation. I mean, on loop all day and all night and all Christmas. God, I was so happy when I got back to hear Christmas music from that song. I was stoked. But anyway, um, oh, I was doing that project, and of course, being me, I'm always thinking of new ways to market or grow something a little bit bigger and better. So I decided that I would go to Disneyland and see if maybe we could set up a kiosk, same situation that we had at the mall in Disneyland, and do custom kids for Disneyland, and then get the rights for them to do the Mickey Mouse. Went up there, big meeting. Actually knew somebody from high school that was who was running the show. Met him, went great. They loved the whole project, man. I brought my back then I carried a laptop as well. Showed them how to do it. We did each of the executives' names and their kids' names, and it was fun and laughing. And it was a great time. Got a letter about a week later said, "Thank you for your time. We're going to go ahead and take a pass at this time, but we do appreciate you." Great. I figured that was that. Strangely enough, about 3 months later, my parents came down and my brothers and sisters to take their kids to Disneyland. They've all moved up to Utah and Colorado and Idaho, families everywhere now. So we all decided to get together down here with our kids and everybody go to Disneyland. It's like 2 months, like February or March after the December. No thanks, we're going to go a different direction. Guess what they did? They took our freaking thing and just did it. Of course, it's Disney. They got millions of dollars. It didn't take them 20 minutes to call somebody and say, develop the software to make this happen. They took our idea and stole it. I even had a non-compete, non-disclosure. But like the guys that own that concept that I was contracted under said to me, and I agree with them now, you can't fight Disney, dude. You ain't got enough money to go in there and create a civil suit against Walt Disney. So anyway, let it go. So I had to let it go. But I learned, man, be careful with your stuff. There's the whole point of that conversation is just I gotta watch this stuff. I don't want it stolen. It's really exciting to me what I've done here and what's starting to happen. It's slower than I wish. God, I want to snap my fingers and make it happen, but it's not. So we'll keep working at it. Coming up, get these books out. Keep talking to you guys. I'm gonna keep checking in with you. Make sure you know what's going on. I'm gonna get me a this week. I'm gonna get an audio. So hopefully, if my sound isn't as good as it should be, it sounds okay on my TV, but I don't know how it sounds when you guys are watching it. So I want to get the audio so we have more of a professional sound, and as well as I can start going to the exterior and actually showing you uh, visually what I see and what's out there. I think you might find it interesting. It's not like I said, it's not a news report or a documentary of homelessness. It's day to day. Nobody's posing up and fixing up. They're asleep on the sidewalk right now, and right out in front of my building. And most of them are decent people, just angry and stuck where they're at. But anyway, awesome. Let's keep moving forward. I'll get those sticks. I'll get those things. I'll talk to you again probably twice more before that all happens. So you're still going to see the blue glasses, and you're still going to see all the the rough production here. Uh, but I will have that stuff straightened out in the next week or so, a couple weeks. We got to get trying to get all this put together so that we're a tight operation by the time we go live. Going live is a whole other thing, and I'm having to study that. And trust me, my 6-year-old brain, I get excited that I'm learning this stuff little by little, but man, it's tough. It's tough. You don't learn the way you did when you're in school. Not anymore. All right. I appreciate you being here. Please like, subscribe, and comment. It's very important. I want to feel like we're talking. I do feel like we're talking. Maybe I'm just tripping. Could be. Wouldn't be the first time. Like I said, I am going for an EEG. Make sure my brain's not totally fried. So, and if it is, hey, it might be more interesting to watch a guy go crazy than it is to sit and listen to me just ramble on about stuff. Anyway, love y'all. Peace out.